With me now in our Parliament House studios are the two campaign spokespeople, Liberal Senator Matthias Cormann and Labor Senator Penny Wong. Thank you very much to both of you for being with us.
Good evening.
Let's start with Bill Shorten's remarks that men rely on women to handle childcare. The Coalition says those remarks are prehistoric. Labor says that he's pointing out the fact that men don't carry an equal load at home or with childcare, even when both partners work. Let me have you start by both answering this question. What policies does your party have to redress that imbalance, to encourage men to pick up more of the home and childcare load? Senator Cormann.
Well, obviously our policies, including and in particular our families package, are designed to help families deal with the work-family balance. I mean, if you look at the proposals that we've put forward as part of our $3 billion funded childcare package, it is designed to help hard-working families, in particular low and middle-income families, to get better, simpler, more flexible and affordable access to childcare.
And is there anything specifically in there that aims to take the load off women and encourage men to pick up more of the load?
Well, I mean, it's obviously very much a matter for families around Australia to organise, but what we would say, I mean, families around Australia in 2016 very much manage these matters in partnership, not along the lines, as Mr Shorten appeared to suggest, leaving all of the logistics to one side of the partnership.
Senator Wong, what policies specifically does Labor have that attempt to redress the imbalance whereby women do more of the load when it comes to housework and childcare?
Well, first, the childcare package that Bill has announced, that was announced yesterday and today, which is recognising the difficulty many parents have in accessing a place, and also you know, people who are hitting the cap and so find it financially difficult to return to work. A lot of women who are affected by that, and I think this policy is absolutely directed at enabling families to have more choice. I'd also put on the table the paid parental leave scheme, which we legislated in government. Was all about making sure that parents, mothers could have time with their babies. We also legislated, as you might recall, for dad and partner pay, which obviously was important. And of course to have a fair industrial relations system so that you do address you know, the fact that women are paid less. We know that we don't have pay equity in this country. We might have legally got equal pay, but you know, if you want to actually redress some of the imbalance, you have to address things like the gender pay gap, and you have to address pay equity.
Senator Cormann, would you describe yourself as a feminist, as the Prime Minister does?
Well, I describe myself very much as pro-equal opportunity for women. I mean, I've got two...
That is a feminist, I think.
Well, yeah. if that is what you want to describe it, I've got two beautiful little girls who I want to have the best possible opportunity to have a happy and successful life, a career, life generally, as I would like to see all girls growing up around Australia to have the best possible opportunity to have successful and happy lives. And obviously the policies of our government are designed to help contribute to that.
Don't you like the word feminist, though?
Look, I leave it to others to use labels, and you know, I'm not very good at describing myself, but I'm very much pro-equal opportunity for women. Senator
Wong, I presume you consider yourself a feminist, so I'm going to move on to a different question for you, which is about costings.
Don't I get to answer that question?
I don't think you need to. Let me ask about Labor's costings. You keep saying that your policies are costed and that the details will be released later. If you know that they're costed, you must have already done the sums, and so therefore why do you not treat voters with respect and put out those figures to give people maximum time to mull over them?
Well, we have put a lot of figures out with respect, and we've done it for the reasons you outline, which is to make sure we are upfront with the Australian people. We put negative gearing capital gains tax changes out that have been the subject of a scare campaign from the government.
Not enough.
Well, not enough. Well, there you go.
Well,
not enough of a scare campaign. That'd be right.
So it doesn't pay for your spending promises.
Well, let me finish. We have put savings proposals on the table. What I have said today, that what Chris Bowen has said, what Bill has said, is two things. One is we will save more than we spend over the decade. Second,
so
you will anticipate...
Senator Wong.
Thank you. You can anticipate more savings announcements from us in this election campaign, just as we were prepared to put savings announcements on the table ahead of the election campaign. And I'll put this back to Senator Cormann, who wants to interrupt me. Let's see how you are funding a number of the things you've announced in this campaign. You're delaying the backpackers tax. You're going to change your superannuation policy. Malcolm Turnbull today said he'd bring forward your childcare policy. That's a $1.3 billion hit, approximately, if you bring it forward forward by 1
Well,
year.
let's ask-
How are you going to pay for that?
Let's ask Senator Cormann to respond to that.
Well, I give you this commitment. The coalition will pay for all of our spending commitments in this campaign, as we have in the budget, by savings in other parts of the budget. We will be able
Her
to
question
show.
was how.
Well, and we have of course released in the budget how we pay for all of our spending commitments, and including and in particular our childcare package, which is not funded under Labor.
But he's just changed it.
You see, but what Penny Wong just said
He's just changed it.
what Penny Wong just said, by using a 10-year, by using a commitment that they would pay for their promises over 10 years, that is code for saying that the deficit will be worse under Labor over the 4 years of the budget forward estimates. That is what she's saying. She's saying that Labor cannot pay for their spending promises over the 4-year forward estimates period, which is the period that the Charter of Budget Honesty actually prescribes.
Let's get Senator Wong to respond to that.
Yeah, sure. Well, first, Matthias didn't answer the question. I mean, the Prime Minister today flagged
We
bringing...
pay for all of our promises.
Senator Wong.
Matthias didn't answer the question. The Prime Minister today said he'd bring forward his childcare package. That's about a $1.3 billion hit. Matthias didn't answer the question about how that would be paid for.
Now, you're not answering the question about the 10-year...
And on a 10-year plan, we have been clear that we want to look to structural improvements over the 10 years, that the government themselves are the ones that put forward a 10-year plan as the centrepiece of their budget. They can't come now and complain that the Labor Party is looking at a range of savings measures which are improvements over the longer term. I mean, the criticism,
So
the
the deficits will
criticism
be
of the
worse under
negative
Labor
gearing.
over 4 years.
I'd
The
like to
deficits
point
will be
this
worse
What
under
I'd like-
Labor over 4 years.
What
If I
I'd like to
could.
do, very briefly, Penny Wong, finish.
The criticism the government made of the negative gearing saving is it didn't save enough in the forward estimates, but it saved more over the longer term. Well, we have deliberately structured some of these savings to reflect that priority.
Let me move on before we run out of time. I want to ask you both about something that Anthony Green referred to in that package. He was saying that, talking about the news poll that shows there's been a surge in voter support for independence up to around 15%. He said he doesn't think that it's credible. What did you think of his analysis, Senator Cormann?
Well, you know, obviously the election result is ultimately a matter for the Australian people. What our message to the Australian people is that if you want a stable government, if you want a stable government implementing a plan for jobs and growth, support your Liberal National Party candidates in the House of Representatives and in the Senate.
Do you think there's substantial support out there, though, for the minor parties and independents?
Well, you know, that is ultimately a matter for the Australian people. What I would say, a vote for Labor, the Greens, the Independents, is a vote for higher taxes and for chaos and dysfunction, and it certainly would not be good for jobs and growth.
Senator Wong, do you believe that the primary vote for independents and minor parties could be up around the 15% mark?
Oh, look, you know, it's always hard to judge. I think Anthony made some good points there. I think the key point is this, though. Ultimately, particularly as the campaign goes on, elections are about issues. And what I would say is if you care about Medicare, if you care about schools, if you care about jobs, if you care about climate change, then you should make your vote count. You should vote Labor.
Penny Wong, Matthias Cormann, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Good to
Always
speak
good
with
to talk
you.
to you.